Population Resources Unit Lesson 3.3 More Indirect Effects. Activity 2. More indirect effects in the sim. What other populations might affect the size of the jelly population? Answer: orca, algae, and walleye pollock. Notice that the walleye pollock and jelly populations compete for the same resource, the zooplankton. The orca and the algae are not competing with the jellies, but they are indirectly connected in the food web. I can trace a line from the algae or the orca to the jellies. The sea urchins and kelp, on the other hand, are not connected to the jellies on the food web at all. In this class, when we talk about the direct and indirect effects that populations can have on one another, we are focusing on the ones that have to do with eating relationships, like the one we can see on a food web. There are many other ways that populations can affect each other. For example, some populations compete for space or even oxygen. You're going to investigate other types of indirect effects that are not competition. You will try to change the size of a population without changing its resource or consumer populations. First, try to increase the clawcat population without changing its resource population, the scalebeaks. After that, you will see if you can decrease the size of the greenleaf population without changing the size of its consumer population, the wee bugs. Students, complete the mission using the sim. After completing the mission, how were you able to increase the clawcat population without changing its resource population? Increase the furbals. Why did increasing the furbals lead to an increase in the size of the clawcat population? Clawcats eat scalebeaks, and scalebeaks eat furbals. If the furbals increase, the scalebeaks have more energy storage molecules and more births, leading to an increase in the scalebeak population. When the scalebeak population increases, the clawcats have more energy storage molecules, so they will have more births. The clawcat population increases. How are you able to decrease the greenleaf without changing its consumer population? Decreasing the furbals. Why did decreasing the furbals lead to a decrease in the size of the greenleaf population? Furbals eat wee bugs, and wee bugs eat green leaves. When the furbal population decreases, they eat fewer wee bugs. This leads to less deaths, and the population increases. A larger wee bug population will eat more green leaves, leading to more deaths, and the population will decrease. How are these examples of indirect effects? These are indirect effects because they are caused by populations that are not directly connected on the food web. Key concept: the size of a population can be affected by any population that is connected to it in a food web, even if they are not directly connected. We have learned that even populations that are not direct consumer or resource populations can affect the size of another population. These are called indirect effects. They happen because one change leads to a change in a population, and that in turn affects another population. End of activity.